wonder if I can change it. Operation is locked. That's cool. This is the first. I think this has been a long time coming. But I wanted to hop on here and share the recent updates. Hey, what's going on? I wanted to hop on here and share the recent updates of Scalar technology and what we've been doing. If you're on YouTube and you're not on Instagram as much, you can get an update from here and what we've been doing. And so far, it's been a wild ride helping people remotely with Scalar technology. And I've been so blessed with the technology that I have and utilizing Oregon breathing and Lemurian technology, as you've seen. The Lemurian technology that I posted, honestly, hey, Trippy, peace and love. I was really skeptical, to be honest, with Lemurians in general. I'm really skeptical, even though I have a pyramid on my head. I know that sounds pretty wild, right? But I'm the type of person that if I can feel it, I know it's real. That's the type of person I am. I don't care if talk of this, and that in terms of blah, blah, blah. I'm more of feel rather than the talking. Feeling, if I can feel it, I know it's real, rather than someone implanting ideas and things of that nature in my head. And feeling really dictates most of our reality, whether you want to agree with it or not. It's a truth. Feeling is the truth. Words can be manipulated in so many different ways, but the feeling, the vibration, the vibratory resonance that is embedded within those words, those intentions, that's what matters. Yeah, so many names for the ancient ancestors. What's up, Lon? We have quite a view of people on here. Hey, guys, shoot your questions. I wish YouTube also allowed people to hop on their live as well. This is why I don't really like to do YouTube live, but hey, this is a first. Is there anything under your headband? Yes, not today, actually. I literally just put this on. I was going to put it on. But normally I would have a tensor ring underneath my headband. If you guys don't know what tensor rings are, tensor rings is something you literally put under GDV imaging and you'll still see the electrons continuously run. And it helps block EMF radiation and it really heals any inflammation that you have on your body. So going back into Scalar. So if you guys are not familiar with Scalar tech and the things I've been posting, hey, I hope you're doing good, Devon. Your knowledge is very helpful. I appreciate that. Yeah, so what I've been doing with Scalar is I'll take someone's picture and literally put a biogeometric blueprint on there and then implant it onto the scalar wave. And the scalar wave, I literally have like 4 different scalar waves now. And I'm going to have a designated one for acne and arthritis. So the current one running right now that many people have been getting some crazy benefits from already, including people in the Breath Family Members group, that is running RNA DNA repair already. So, this week I've been blessed. I'm going to interview Bashar. And if you guys don't know who Bashar is someone who is channeled through Dal Anchor. He's actually one of the few people out in the whole entire world that have been on point with 9/11. He literally predicted word for word 9/11. I remember watching that video. I doubt it's on YouTube anymore, but it's worth a try looking up. I think I'd be able to find it maybe in the Reddits or in the Bashar archive. There are people out there that have been archiving people like Bashar. When they know that if you're making bold predictions and those bold predictions are hitting on point, your credibility goes up. Specifically 9/11. And there's another person out there. His name's Dr. James Cottrell, and Dr. James Cottrell is someone I I highly revere as well, because he's actually used his psychic abilities, or his quantum gift, to actually help law enforcement find missing children. I mean, this is what this is what makes more sense to me. If you can predict this, predict that, do this, why not use it for the benefit of mankind in terms of your fellow brothers and sisters in that sense? If if you proclaim what you're saying is quote unquote true. And that's what I'm doing also with Scalar, and what I've been doing with the breathwork space already. So um, I'm going to be reading this. I have taken a tattoo of your breath design. Oh, snap. That's wild. Hello, Devon. Love your audio breathwork. Greetings from Hungary. Ooh, much love. What do you think about Instagram, WhatsApp, some bank applications being down for over 40 minutes? I don't know. I don't know what to think. But I'm on here. Hey, we're here. We're live, right? We're here together. Any questions on Scalar? Because some of you in here probably know what I've been doing on Scalar, and the results that I posted on Instagram. I only posted a few. I can only post so much on YouTube, but there's no limit when it comes to YouTube, right? So I'm gonna be doing a lot more of that moving forward. But because YouTube didn't block me from uploading the Lemurian deck, which is funny because it came from YouTube, but Instagram blocked it. Yeah, so it's funny you said that, because I was just talking with a friend. Technically, if you're going on a social media fast, right? If you're going on a social media fast, YouTube technically is a social media platform. So when people say, "Oh, I'm going on a social media fast," I'm like, "Okay, why are you watching YouTube? Why are you watching other people on YouTube?" That technically counts as social media. So when people do that, I tell them, "Hey, uh, if you're doing it, go all the way. Listen to audiobooks, not even audiobooks, honestly. If people have a really hard time with social media and stuff like that, even there's also weeks where I actually have a platform where I just automatically uploads to my Instagram. You can do that. So if you're a content creator, look into that. It's worth it. I don't actually spend as much time on Instagram as you'd think. I have other things to do, and other tech and breath tech to look into and help people with in that sense. All right, let me read some of the comments here. Oh, live chat. Oh, that's so cool. You can do that here. Yeah, guys, shoot your questions away. It's nice to live in the real world. Yes. That's how I got the Scalar tech. So people tell me, "Hey, how do you get into contact with people like this that gave me the Scalar tech in general?" Well, your whole life is not based off social media. It's based off the real world, right? And it's just like in the Tao that they say, when you align, certain energy forces will be there to guide you and help you, and things of that nature. That applies more so in the real world than the artificial world in that sense, because when you meet people in the real world from social media, depending on wherever your vibratory vibration is as a being, I don't let too many people in, even though they talk this and that on Instagram, into my life like that in real life, unless they're like a client or one-on-one, or they come to my events, and we really vibe out and really get to know each other in that sense. Yeah, you got to protect your energy. Learn how to protect your energy. Don't let anyone or whoever just into your life like that. On this live chat, 1 second. What's the best air breathing technique to start with to calm down cravings? Interesting. Well, understand this. There is no best breathing technique. That's what alchemy breathwork is about. It's about a lifestyle. There is literally 100 plus alchemy breathwork exercises in the members group alone. 100 plus videos literally in there alone. And it's designed to be utilized in daily life. And more than focus too much on like, oh, the 1 hour session, this 1 hour session, that. If you keep on thinking that way, it's like you're creating a compartmentalized state of mind and being where you're not seeing the full picture of how life acts as a meditation in itself, because life truly is a meditation. It really is. It's not separate. It shouldn't be separate. Hell no. It's what you do frequently that is becoming your quote unquote frequency. That is life. That's how you attract certain things in your life, because that's based on what you are doing on a frequent basis, building up the frequency. And if you do any of the exercises on alchemy breathwork and you're not in the members group or anything, or you haven't done a one-on-one with me, just find one of them. Find something that's really great for you and do it in one particular space. If you're still stuck in the mentality of I need to do it 1 hour here, 1 hour there, 1 hour there, I want to give you a different perception of reality, of how to really amplify your breath mechanics in this way, and give you a sense of what I mean in breath consciousness. Breath consciousness is more than just breath work. It dives a whole in an in-depth sense of how we connect the reverence for breath into your everyday life. How do we do that? By building more awareness of the breath and the characteristics of breath. That is breath consciousness, going beyond breath work. And I don't even like to say beyond breath work, but just for the mainstream to at least get what I'm saying in that sense. So take a particular technique, whatever it is, go to a particular tree or a particular spot in your house or a place and do that same exact breathing pattern in that exact space for 30 days straight. And you will feel a different resonance even before you even get in that space. While you're walking towards that space, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it amplifying. This is why they had high reverence for temples and churches and things like that, because they knew, I'm talking about ancient times, they knew how powerful it was to build up a frequency in one exact spot, even beyond the prayers itself or the chanting in itself, because they knew about scalar energy in itself as well. And you can definitely look at ancient Greece particularly, because there are some architecture out there that has specific frequencies in itself, and that's how you know when they combined sound healing into those architectures. Don't you think they knew what they were doing? There's even some stories out there in the Himalayas where certain temples would go invisible based off monks chanting, because when they go invisible, they could use it as a weapon. So when the enemies would come into certain countries, and these are certain temples that did this, when certain enemies would come in certain countries, they'd be invisible and the enemies didn't even know where they went. They just disappeared, because they create a certain vibratory resonance, allowing them to just disappear from the naked eye. Question: in reference to 3 meals a day, do you follow a similar 3 breathing techniques a day? And if you miss a session, is it similar to missing a meal? So let's tap into that question. I actually love that question. I love these questions, guys. Yeah, so going back to alchemy breathwork in itself. So people ask me, hey, what kind of breathwork do you do every day? Right? I don't do the same breathwork every day. Every day is different. And in a sense, to the outside looking in, you could say I do about 6 hours of breath work. But for those that are in the Breath Family Members group, know that I do breath work 24/7, all the way down to mental breath work. See? Breath work has so much depth than meets the eye. It really does. I do breath work 24 hours a day. I'm even doing breath work right now, even gazing into this camera right now as I'm multiplying on the exhales. And there's quantum breathing. There's so much aspects of breath that I totally invite you to take that leap of faith and dive into a one-on-one with me, or one of the Breath Family Members group packages. Just dive into it, because that, I don't care what level of breath work you're on. I've had so many different people from all different types of breath work come in and really amplify whatever they're doing with these different styles and perceptions, keyword perceptions of breath, that you can really tap into. And some of you, yeah, I saw that comment. Yeah, some of you saw the pranayama master himself hopped onto one of my lives and said, nope, this is totally different. I can taste the nectar even more and all this stuff. I'm reading the comments here. Where can I find some information about the Corinthian? I'm not sure what you mean. Are you talking about the necklace or the Bible reference? Not sure what you mean. So Corinthian in itself is actually, it's an interesting thing about Corinthian. If you were to do some research yourself about Corinthian, you'd find you'd find how different levels of alchemy is used with the Corinthian metal. And what Corinthian metal is, a mix of gold, silver, which is more, you could say, in the metaphysical space. Keyword silver. In my opinion, silver is definitely worth more than gold, in my opinion, because there's more metaphysical properties when it comes to silver than gold. How does Scalar work? Is it able to be recreated at home? I'm literally using it right now. I even have a Tesla coil on this one. So how Scalar works. So, all right. A quick tip about Scalar. You have electricity, right? You have point A, point B for electricity. Scalar resides in 0 point. At one point simultaneously, they're going from point A to point B. It's just resonating in its own frequency in itself. And what these scalar machines do, it doesn't produce scalar. What it does is you're opening the door to scalar energy itself. Even the sun produces scalar energy in that aspect. And think of the sun. Think of how widespread the sun is. If you want to think of scalar, look how widespread the sun is. If you want to think of scalar, look how widespread the breath is. Your thoughts are technically a derivative from scalar. Electricity is a derivative from scalar. Light, even light, is a derivative from scalar. So people ask, hey, what travels faster than sound? Light. Hey, what travels faster than light? Scalar. What also resides in the scalar category, chi, prana, ki, however you want to name life force, organ, all resides in the scalar energy. Again, what you do frequently is your frequency. Let's see here. How does scalar enter the body? The third eye? More so from your head, because your head is a receiver. Think about it. The head is a receiver, and then everything going down. Technically your head is the hottest place. It's always going to be warmer than the rest of your body. You do know that, right? Think about it. So why is your head the hottest place? Lots of energy going here. And it's more than just heat than you would think of heat. Feeling, when someone said like, oh, you're a hothead, you know what you're feeling? And also when people have, what's the word? It's not memory overload, or they think too much, or they get a headache. Let's see here. This live chat just disappeared. Oh, great. Instagram's messing with, I'm about to say YouTube is messing with me now. Hi, everybody. I'm a beginner, new to this journey. Is it best to start with one meal a day? It's best to start with breath work. Learn to breathe before you learn to fast, and you will be 10 times better off. I promise you. Don't get lost in the sauce. Learn to breathe before you learn how to fast, because when you have a breath foundation, you have a foundation of breath that follows you anyway throughout any journey you try to embark on, right? So with that breath following you, as you go into different densities, no matter how dense, even down to people, even more than food, because even people can be dense, right? Being around certain energies of people, and it's having an effect on you. Yeah, that affects you. That affects how you yourself process and deprocess stress in itself. Your environment is a huge factor. But if you can build a powerful foundation in breath, then the external world will not rule the way you breathe. You will rule the way you breathe. And until you accept that, the easier it is to go into these different densities of diet, lifestyle, however you want to call it. I remember working with this guy in the UN, right? This guy in the UN was super stressed, head over heels, and because he travels a lot, all this stuff, and we finally integrated some breath work. And he's into fasting too, by the way. Fasting, he said, fasting so far has been helping me. And I told him this, since you're since you can really feel the densities and things of that nature when it comes to fasting, let me ask you this. Don't you feel it was a lot easier to breathe while you were fasting? He's like, yeah, well, why aren't you paying attention more to your breath than the actual food and time and all this stuff? It's like, wow, I never thought about it that way. It was like, it could help you a longer way. And his stress levels got down to the point where he was no longer having a gray beard. You can tell that some black were finally coming into his beard. Man, diet alone can only do so much. It's your breathing pattern that is allowing you to function in this life. Your breathing pattern dictates your life patterns, your decision patterns, all patterns you could think of. The breath is the foundation of those patterns. Let's check out the live. Let's chat here. There's an outage in California okay, cool. I believe Google has a fiber optics station here in Colorado. I don't think YouTube will ever be down, I guess. All right, so what are your thoughts about sensation of uprising, cold and warm energy at the top of the head and downwards to the body all day when awake? Oh, so in that particular one, if you're going back and forth, I wouldn't say you wouldn't have control, but you're not allowing certain pathways within your body to flow a single focused direction. And that's what's happening while you're feeling that way. So If you can really hone in on your breath, and that's why, you know why there's no quote unquote one breathwork technique that is the best, because everyone is different. Everyone is different at their point in life, and that is why I made alchemy the way I did, so you can have fun with different styles of breathing in your daily life. Because look at it this way: if I'm there sitting down in meditation in the darkness, right? And then I go out into everyday life. Well, let's say I work at like a construction job or something. If I sit down in darkness 24 hours for about 4 days straight or something, and then I go back to my construction job, don't you think you're a lot more sensitive to the sounds, the banging, the stress? It's like this uprising with people who do ayahuasca for a lot, and some people are coming up with suicidal thoughts because they saw certain things or felt certain energies that they were not quote unquote ready to quote unquote. So talking about that, if we can implement the meditative process in your everyday life in terms of doing a meditation like essence while you're in that construction site, then when you go into your sit down time alone and go in depth, you think, there we go. Yeah, time itself is literally irrelevant. So the subconscious mind does not perceive time the same way that the conscious mind does. They're all different perceptions of reality. And we know that 90% of our actions and how we perceive reality comes from mind. So if we can bring the subconscious mind into our everyday reality, into the conscious mind with the breath, with the power of breath, and utilize more harmonious patterns in our chaotic lives, you will see, you will witness, forget seeing, you will witness, you will feel how powerful that is. So how you can really come back into a level of awareness and being and state of being, into a harmonious reality of how it just watch how it pulls you and pushes you into different situations that's even better for your DNA, that's even better for you yourself as a being, because you are literally feeding into that state of reality where you can have this much stress on the outside factor, but inside, no matter where you go, your stress levels is not just maintained, but has a harmonious flow where it's not getting stuck. Because you're still going to experience anger, you're still going to experience stress, you're still going to experience all these things. That's life. And that's energy. That's energy in motion, emotion. That's what it is. So when you can learn how to use the breath to harmonize with the emotions, no matter what it is, and turn it and transmute it into strength, vitality, healing energy, your job life is going to get better. Your work life, your entrepreneur life is going to get better, whatever that is. Relationship wise, it's going to surprise you, whatever that is, whatever your journey is. It's going to surprise you. But again, don't be surprised. Stay level headed and just witness and enjoy the ride when you take ownership, the fact that it's possible for every single instance in your life. If you can take ownership in that, that is going to forever change your life for the better, because you are now being a responsible co-pilot in this co-creation we call life. Someone goes, how do I implement personal integrity? I struggle with that a lot. Can you go into detail? And yeah, I'll answer some questions. Samadhi is just an opiate, helpful confronting internal issues, but the back. Okay, cool. Kaizen with Tyler on here. Hey, brother. I had a thought a while back like how beneficial is good eating if the individual is stressed. Oof. Yeah, think about it. If you're super stressed and you're fasting, you're in for a roller coaster ride. I've seen some pretty bad results with that. Even fasting retreats where I guess the person, because I even said no to being invited to Costa Rica. I'm not gonna say what what um what camp and stuff like what camp it is that I got invited to and I said no to. But I've seen some pretty horrid things at that camp, and that's one of the reasons why I said no, because people who have been fasting for X amount of years or whatever it is, they have seen the benefits. They have seen the beautiful things that come out of it. So when people are just getting into it, some of them may not have the patience for it, and they don't have that human compassion that you should have. If you've been fasting for X amount of time, you should have confronted with yourself how powerful the spirit is and keeping you alive and things of that nature. You should have that mindset, right? But this camp in particular, they mistreat people when it comes to their process, and they don't really think of them as much. So yeah, your stress factors is a huge key component, because if the body isn't taking a energy source of feeding, it's going to start looking for other energy sources to feed from, right? And if your stress levels is super high, and it may look at that as, hey, it's a lot of energy coming from that, but I'm gonna still try to feed from it. It's not a good quality to feed from. And this may tie into when some people say there is no quote unquote good or bad in that sense. I could understand that perception for sure. I get it. But energy and all emotion is just energy. At the end of the day, it's nothing more, nothing less. But we like to, as human, complicate things. And if you want to bring up Bible references, read the whole Bible, not just the King James version. Read Book of Enoch, read Jesus' Bible, read Moses' Bible. They go so in depth into what Western Christians call New Age and things of that nature. There was talk about sun gazing in the Bible. There was talk about semen retention in the Bible. It's nothing new here. We're all remembering. That's all it is. Yeah, you breathe right, you start to feel right. I struggle to keep a word with myself, but with others, I always make sure I show up. I struggle acting with what I know is right, but in my mind, I know it's not integrity with my actions. Interesting. So, okay, you're talking about personal. Okay, I get what you mean by personal integrity. So let's talk about that. Real quick, I want to say that you were born alone in this world, and you're going to leave alone in this world. And yes, we even myself, I know a lot of people say I show up for others a lot, and some people got surprised that I engaged to my fiance. But a lot of people, a lot of close friends of mine, they say that you both show up for each other, and then when that love comes together, it's its own powerful it's its own powerful monster, and a good monster. It's sense. It's a powerful source of energy for sure when we come together in that sense. So tapping back into that, you came alone in this world, and the closest friend you have is the breath. So if you can learn to build a personal relationship with your breath, in terms of integrity, you have someone always there holding you accountable, even beyond the actual person. But just that mechanics of breath. Pay attention to how you're breathing when you're helping others. I know you were talking about that, right? So I know you want to show up for others more than yourself sometimes, but pay attention to how you breathe when you're showing up for others. Pay attention and notice the breath patterns of your excitement, your I'll give you a beautiful tip. When you're in that state, right? And you love that state, you personally love that state. Say to yourself like this: with this breath, I'm accepting more of this energy towards myself. And just realize you're reflecting of how you would treat yourself, or even literally vision yourself as that person you're helping. Like literally, as if you're looking in the mirror, like literally vision yourself as that person as you're helping. And that will also help build up, that integrity you're talking about, and really giving yourself the allowance of that godly love that you deserve. Do people try to break down your confidence when they see you're alone, vibrating high, powerful, yet humble? Everywhere in public, people throw shade. They end up running. I just want my own peace. I get where you're coming from with that. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, I live in Miami, so there is ego here in that sense. I know what you mean by that. But honestly, I stay in my own lane. Well, not my own lane. Well, yeah, I stay in my own lane in that sense, but not try. I I feed the wolf that has my back. If you can understand what I'm coming with that. I feed the actions that is best good for me, yes, but also anyone around me. I feed those actions. That's what I pay attention to more so than what others try to force upon me in that sense. And I hope that can help you. Thank you for the advice. Much love. How do you make DMT explain the breath? Right now you're making DMT. It's very subtle, but yeah, your life is psychedelic, as they say. It's just your awareness to it. Going back to what you do frequently. Listen, you can get into, there's times where I've taken 4 grams of mushrooms and I don't feel like I'm being shifted out my body. And someone tell me when I took like mushroom tea, like it's like 4 grams of mushroom tea. I think I posted it on YouTube at one point and then I deleted it because there was like a copyright issue with Cowboy. I put Cowboy Bebop in there at one point. But I did like a 3-4 day dry fast, and then I broke it with mushroom tea. And when I broke it with mushroom tea, I felt like I didn't feel like I was pulled out my body in that sense, if you know what I mean, because it was a natural feeling that I was aware of, that I knew it was a familiar. There we go. It was a familiar feeling in terms of the whole DMT aspect of it. It was a familiar feeling, and I didn't feel like I was being pulled out of my body because I'm so familiar with that feeling just by breath alone. Oh, you see what I mean by foundation? There's yogis out there that people will travel all over the world and they meet these yogis and they would give them Adderall and drugs and all these things and they'd be fine. They're like, nothing, hey, I don't feel anything because they're already in that state. Like I said, what you do frequently is your frequency. So, talking about that, when you have a powerful foundation in breath, you can utilize these plant medicines, if you want to put it like that, these plant medicines into a more structured force. Okay, you can really do that. You don't have to let the plant medicine control you in that sense, and it goes back to the foundation of breath. People think because I live in the city, I'm affected by pollution and things of that nature. Yeah, in a sense I am, for sure. But it doesn't affect me too much because I've trained myself not to need too much oxygen versus the average breather. I train myself to breathe efficiently rather than overbreathing. There is a thing called overbreathing. It's not the more you breathe, the less you need. It's the more efficiently you breathe, the less you need. Happy Cyber Attack Monday. I fasted for 6 months, and first 2 weeks were by accident, but the rest of the times was intentional. That was like 7 years ago, and I struggle to fast like that again. Build your breath foundation, and it'll be easier. I promise you. I involuntarily lost my seed in sleep. Oh no, you're fine. If listen, for people out there who are on the semen retention wave, and you are having wet dreams, you are technically not losing semen because you're not. Trust me, that's not semen. Semen is within the orgasm. You're not. No, you're not losing any semen. Semen is literally found within the orgasm. You can literally shoot blanks, and that can literally be not semen as you think. So when it comes to that, here's what's happening. I've learned this on the semen retention game, and I've talked to spinal doctors themselves about semen retention. So what's happening is the more you can hold your seed, and this is why breathwork is so important, because those carriers that's holding your sperm and then shooting it back up the spine, as the semen inside you get hard and hard and hard, as it formulates and pushes into the spine, as it hardens, that those that's really another muscle in itself. Think about it. That's really another muscle. It's actually your pelvic muscle, your pelvic diaphragm as well. That is a huge key to help push that semen into the spine. And you need to learn how to build that muscle. You can either do it with the breathwork practice, or hold as long as you can, and it's actually gonna get more rough and rough in that state of mind. But the breath work also helps with the mental aspect as well. It helps you calm down and release certain tensions you have built up not having sex or any sexual pleasures. But the breath work in itself also helps you have internal orgasms. That's another thing that's not really talked about when it comes to different styles of breathwork. But yes, it will also teach you how to have internal orgasms. So when you have sex, you don't ejaculate. And that way you save your semen as well. All right, guys, I think it's that time. Oh, thank you for the love. Where can I find Jesus' Bible, Moses' Bible? And it's an easy Google. It's there, and you can find on Amazon most likely too. It's probably there. Let's see. Any more questions? Are you familiar with chelonic science? Nope. Chelotonic science. All right. Let's see here. I don't really understand how wet dreams. Yeah, they're. So when you're look into the functionality of orgasms. So what you're seeing is it's not semen. Semen only comes out during orgasms. You hear me? Semen only comes out during orgasms. So what you're shooting out is not particular semen. It's just a white fluid of sperm. Sperm and semen are two different things. Sperm contains semen. See, so when you're ejaculating, yes, sperm comes out, but doesn't mean the semen comes out as well. Just like some people are infertile or weak sperm, if you want to put it like that. Some men out there don't even produce sperm. That's a thing. Yeah, they might shoot out some. Sorry. Some men don't produce semen, but they might shoot out sperm, but they're not producing semen. I hope you understand that in that sense. Prevent that as well. I found it's most likely. So breath work before sleep also helps, by the way, in terms of wet dreams. Yeah, breath work before sleep is truly powerful. It will definitely help. Also, the subliminal breath work before sleep should help you as well. Check that out. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Exactly. It's the fertilizing part that is, yes, that you're trying to excrete. All right, guys. Breathwork for vivid dreaming. Check out the subliminal breathwork for dreaming. That's powerful. Like I said, listen, there's